There we go. I think we're good.
Right.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Joshua, the last.
Yeah, last of 17.
Wow, the last online Bible study for 2017. Wow, this year has flown by.
It has.
And I am amazed at the things that we have experienced, the things that we are still experiencing, because the year's not over yet, right?
Right.
I'm just blessed. I just dropped my brother off at the airport, so I got to spend the holidays with my brother, which is always a highlight for me. Just to get to share that time.
Yes.
We always have fun, and there's always something exciting going on when our family gets together. So it turns into some interesting encounters. I want to give you guys a second because tonight's Bible study is really going to focus on what we do every year around this time. Try to figure out what our New Year resolution is going to be. What are we going to do in the new year? We take an evaluation of our life over the past year, and we try to figure out what we're going to do different,
Right.
so that we don't come around this time, 2018, and seem like we have done the same thing that we did in 2017. And I don't really call it reinventing the wheel, but taking an evaluation of the things that you did that didn't work.
Okay.
And try to figure out what you need to do in order to refocus.
Okay. Yes.
And reevaluate and realign to what God's plan is for our lives.
Right.
So, I'd like to thank my brother, Reverend Reggie White, for being here with me this evening. He's always debonair, y'all. Look at that. I'm gonna start upping my game as far as my attire goes. You know, it was a holiday. You know, I didn't work today for real. So, but I always thank him for just being that constant friend.
Appreciate you.
And confidant. He does look out for me. And matter of fact, he texted me on the way here like, "You coming? What's going on?" And I was humping down the highway. I was coming. So, and I always look forward to our conversations. So we didn't get to have our conversation that we normally do before the Bible study starts.
Right.
So you all are going to get impromptu, real life.
Let's get it.
Reggie and I just going hashing it out like we normally do before we even start. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask my brother Reggie, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Start us off in prayer, sir.
All right. Gracious God, we thank you, Lord, just for being who you are.
Yes, God.
We thank you for your presence in this world and in this room. God, because of your presence, we can have true life and just not merely exist.
Yes.
Because of your presence, Lord, we can experience it. We can experience the joys of a new day and not dwell on the mistakes we made yesterday.
Yes.
So, God, we can learn from them, and we can learn to love you and ourselves and our neighbors better than we have.
Yes.
So we ask right now that your will would be reflected in our lives, in our thoughts and in our deeds, in our words to others and to ourselves. Bless us, God, in this day, and we shall be blessed. Bless this time, Lord, and it shall be blessed in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Well, I want you to do me a favor. Reggie has us online, and he's going to try and help. And he's going to help us out with comments because, you know, this is an interactive discussion. This is not us just talking to you. But we want to reference some things that you all have commented on so that we can have an open discussion. I always love our discussions, and they're real eye-opening because it's discussions you don't get to have in church.
Yes.
You get to come in, you get to listen to the sermon, and then that's about it.
Right.
And you talk about it afterwards, but it's a little different feel to be able to discuss right at hand, like if you have a question or if you have a comment that you want us to address. So please put your comments on the Joshua page. If you are logged in on my personal page, please log in there. Are you logged in on yours too?
Yes, I am.
And on Reverend Reggie White's page if you have the opportunity. So tonight we're going to talk about new year, new life, new blessings. And I want you to turn to Romans chapter 8, verses 12 through 14. And I picked the Message translation because for me, it just makes it clear and plain as day in everyday conversation. And not that I have a adversity or an adverse feeling about the King James Version. But we don't talk like that. So sometimes, but they do have the wording does emphasize different things.
Sure.
But tonight I wanted to use the Message translation just because how plain it made it today, okay? So I want you to turn to Romans 8:12-14, and this is what the Message translation says. And we're thinking about the new year, right? All right. So don't you see that we don't owe this old do-it-yourself life 1 red cent? There's nothing in it for us, nothing at all. The best thing to do is give it a decent burial and get on with your new life. God's Spirit beckons. There are things to do and places to go. This is the word of God.
Thanks be to God.
Thanks be to God. And I want you all, the title of Romans 8 in the Message translation says, the solution is life on God's terms. So today, you all know me. I'm thinking about what we're going to talk about, and somehow the things that I experienced during the week seem to focus on what we want to focus on for the Thursday Bible study.
Right.
So I was on Facebook today, and I ran across this I don't know what to call it, something, and it was titled New Year, New Blessings. Okay, and it had phrases scrolling, like flashing.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Okay.
I did see that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so on there it said take a screenshot, and then when you look at the screenshot, there will be words that it stops on. It is like the focus that you're going to have for 2018. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know me, I was like, okay, I'm game. I'll do it. I want to see, I want to see what happens. So I did it. So I took the screenshot, and the words that popped up inspired me, okay?
Okay.
And so then there was this phrase that you were supposed to read when you actually did it. And it says, in 2018, I will manifest focus and determination.
Okay.
So first, you know me, I'm a literal person. So, of course, I say manifest. We sing the song manifest, but what does manifest really mean? So I looked it up, of course, in the dictionary. Okay. And the verbal and the meaning for manifest as a verb means to display or show by one's acts or appearance, or to demonstrate. So then I was thinking about the things that I thought about what I wanted to do for 2018. And I have a list of things that I have decided that I'm going to change about my life in 2018. Okay. And when I was talking to my mom about it earlier today, I told her I wasn't really going to open you all up to everything that's going on in my life. But you know me, I'm an open book. I want this to be an open discussion, so I'm not going to hide anything. Right. In 2018, I'll be turning 40. The big 40, right?
Right, yeah.
And my daughter will be starting her senior year of high school. Okay. And I want her to have the things that I have. So I was driving myself to school my senior year. I was working, but my daughter's a lot more active in other activities as far as singing. So she might not be working as often. But I wanted her to have that type of experience. So the first thing I need to do is right now I'm in Canton. Okay. So my first goal for 2018 is to move back to the city. Because she goes to school in Renaissance. And if anybody knows anything about Renaissance, if anybody knows anything about 275, I am terrified to have my new driver, on 275 every morning for school and coming home.
That's true.
So my first goal and my focus is to move back to Detroit. Now everybody keeps saying, why Detroit? Okay, Old Park, Southfield, but I say Detroit. I want to be in Detroit. Right. That's where I want to be. I want to be somewhere in Detroit. Yes. So when it said focus and determination, when those words popped up, I was like, okay, God, really? So I'm on Facebook and you just letting stuff pop up that I've already talked to you about, that I want to happen. Right. So that was one. Two was to get my finances in order. So, and I don't know, many of you know I am a spend as I go. Okay. And so I am in the process. I finally opened up a savings account. Right. And I know savings account and everything, so my investors don't get mad at me, okay? I know. I still need to invest, but let me start baby steps, okay? We're taking it slow, baby steps. So I finally have a savings account because I'm finally getting to a point and I have a job where things are starting to improve. So I'm not always robbing Peter to pay Paul. Good. Okay? So today's topic, New Year, New Life, New Blessings, is not because we're taking our old life and just throwing it in the garbage. Okay. Okay. And then I know it says give it a decent burial, but they don't mean burial as in to forget. Sure. Because even when you think about burying a loved one, you're not burying them and forgetting about about the impact that they had on your life. That's true. Yeah. And you think about the things that you see in yourself, that you see in them, that comes out in what you do and what you say. So, But you take those things that we've learned in 2017 and you make adjustments and you tweak them so that you're a better person in 2018. So if I knew I was living paycheck to paycheck in 2017, my steps to becoming better financially stable is to open a savings account. It's to not spend without a budget.
There you go.
It's not to be an impulse buyer. I'm not gonna lie, I'm an impulse buyer. If I see it and I want it, and if I can finagle it somehow, I'm gonna do it.
You get it.
I'm gonna get it. But I understand there's things coming up. My daughter has 2018. She's about to be a senior, y'all. Y'all already know she's a girl. Prom, all that other stuff, senior dues, all that's coming up. So my question to you all tonight, because I know I've just talked for 10 minutes straight about me, and I don't want to usurp the conversation. But so my question for you all today is, if you decide to do that thing on Facebook, and I actually have the link on my Facebook page, if you just want to try it to see what happens. I'm not saying it's going to profess anything into your life.
Right.
I'm just saying just see what it does. A couple of my friends did, and I checked it out when I was on my way here. But if you had that button in real life that you could push to see what would be your focus, or what would be manifested in your life in 2018, Reggie, what do you think it would be? Or did you even try it?
I did. I tried it. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Honestly, mine was perseverance.
Definitely you.
I think it was perseverance. That was the only one I remember, because there were so many combinations you could have.
Yeah.
And I just landed on perseverance, took a screenshot, and that was it.
Wow.
So I just said, okay, that would be it. I saw it on another page. That may have been on Instagram. Okay. I saw the one on Instagram. Okay. But, I mean, they've been on a lot of different sites. And I want to persevere. I want to establish a goal and see it to the end. And I don't want to mess with it in the beginning. Like, if I start something, I want to commit to that thing to the end. Now, I may go over a cliff, but even if I go over the cliff, I'm doing it with all my heart. Like, whatever I am, I'm going to commit to it with all my heart. Now, that requires something of me.
Right.
Because God has responsibility to God's dream. I didn't make myself. God made me. So if God made me, then God has seen some things before I have. Okay. So God has provided for me. And I believe if God sent me, God will provide. If God sent me to grad school, God is going to provide for a way for me to pay for it.
Right. Yeah.
If God sent me to minister, God will give me the gifts that I need to do that. The books that I read, the papers that I write, the thoughts that I have, God is going to provide those tangible things to me. So it isn't just, well, I don't know how God is going to do it, but it's going to come out of thin air. Right. No, God is going to put some things in my path, in my grasp, that I can reach. And I get that. But the onus is on me to actually follow through with it. Okay. See, if love is the fuel that moves life, okay, you can have a car full of gas, but if you don't step on the accelerator, doesn't matter how much gas you have in your car, you haven't moved. Right. So it's on us to make some changes, just like God has the responsibility to provide. So I'm right there with you. Okay. I'm right there with you. Yes. So
I'm glad you said that, because when I was talking to my mom, we were talking about the phrase came up: faith without works is dead.
Sure.
And with, like I told you, I want to move back to Detroit. I want my daughter to be able to drive to school every day. So I couldn't just say, okay, God, this is what I want, and sit back and wait for it to happen. Like I said, I'm sitting down with a friend, and we're going to do a budget. I'm going to actually write out a budget. Okay. This is how much I make per week, and I'm not basing it on overtime. I'm basing it on just basic 40-hour week. This is what I make. If I work overtime, this is extra, but what am I going to do with that extra? Will it go into savings? Will it go into an investment? What's it going to go into? And then work on curbing my impulse buying. Okay. Because I can't quit cold turkey. I'm trying to quit cold turkey, but and with, like you said, and once I lay out that budget and I see what it's going to take,
right,
I might convince myself to quit cold turkey if I want to be where I want to be. Okay. So just like when we talk about our lives, and it says that God's spirit beckons, there's the spirit of God within us.
Yes.
And every time we make a decision, or every time we think we're making a decision, it's not just something that we're just thinking, oh, it's going to happen. I would like to think that during this time, as we talk to you all and as we talk to each other, that we make, like when I made the decision to want to move back to Detroit, I prayed to ask God, what do you think is best for me at this time?
There you go.
And that's when things started changing. That's when someone was brought into my life to help me to say, hey, look, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead. You start putting money into a savings account. Let's go ahead. Let's get your budget. I mean, you keep saying it. You keep saying, okay, let's sit down and finally do it.
Sure.
For somebody who has been protected by her family all her life. Because even when I stayed in the house on Oakland, it was my parents' house. It wasn't the house that was in my name that I purchased, that I put everything, It was basically me babysitting the house. So this will be my first, because I moved out with my brother before, I've moved out with others before, but this will be my first in my name.
Okay.
Dwelling place.
All right. Okay.
So this is my goal. And I know people are like, well, you're about to be 40. Why did you wait so late?
You know what? We're gonna cut that out. We're gonna cut that out right now.
Okay.
I mean, about 10 minutes into this thing, and for everyone that's watching, I don't care what anyone else says, because we got to get ourselves out of our own way. Because honestly, all right, from like birth to 20, we're living to impress other people. From 20 to 40, we're like, well, maybe the people that I was trying to impress really don't care. When you turn 40, like I turned 40 2 years ago. Okay. And I was like, man, the people weren't even thinking about me. You know what I'm saying? And then I read in another magazine that when you turn 60, you realize that like there were a couple people in your corner rooting you on. Yeah. And that's it. And so you don't live for anyone else, but there are very few people's opinions that you consider wholeheartedly and take to heart. I don't care what anyone thinks of me. Why are you studying this theology? I mean, you could just go to church. Well, no, you can't. And I'm not going to waste my time trying to prove my dreams to someone else who doesn't care about me. I care about you. You know, I mean, I tell you I love you, and because I do. And so if I love you, I'm for you. If I can see an opportunity that will help you, I'll remind you of it, or I'll present it to you, or I'll recommend you for something. That's what love does. It's an action word. Forget people who might think less of you. Forget people who are saying, if you haven't been married and you're this age, then it's something going on that's wrong with you. Or if you don't have children, then it's a problem if you're at such and such age, or you have too many children at such and such age, or whatever. Because somebody is always going to say something. And you know what? Paul mentioned this in the New Testament, in the 7th chapter of 1 Corinthians, when he was like, it doesn't matter if you're married or not. If I had my way, none of y'all would be married. Doesn't matter if you have children or not. Because not everybody is built to do everything. Right. So we're going to get this stuff out of the way right now. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. And if you are proactive, you cannot care what people think about you. You have too many goals and too many dreams and too many things that God has placed within your grasp to bog yourself down with what people might think of you. It doesn't matter what they think of you. Because in the end, none of them will risk life and limb to help you. So their opinions really don't matter. And that's just how it is. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but let's go. I'm so tired of people who were like, well, what will they think of me? They will not think of you. Right. That's what, in the end, they will not think of you. I mean, they just won't. And that's just how it is. People are so flighty. They in one day and out the next. And if they're not talking about you, they're talking about somebody else. And honestly, I learned this year that if you gossip about someone, then you're secretly angry at them for something.
Okay.
For something that maybe they did that you didn't do or couldn't do. That's why you're gossiping about them. And instead of talking about them, it's best to hash out whatever problem you have with them.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to the audience, but I'm really talking to myself.
Yeah.
All the times that I may have talked about someone or said something out of turn, anything I'll say to you, I'll say to that person.
Yeah.
So it's not really like I'm trying to keep something from them. I don't do that. But I had to make that change in my life. You know. So that's all I'm saying. We have to be honest with ourselves and honest with God and honest with each other, and then we can go and accomplish all those things. We're destined for doom if we decide what we want to have instead of who we want to be. I need to decide who I'm going to be, who God made me to be. Then I can pursue what God wants me to have. And I think that's the proper order of things. So let's not put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get everything we need to have. Forget about what people think.
And I appreciate that because, like he said, I do that a lot. I'm a people pleaser. I've always been that way since I was young. So, yeah, I do have a tendency to say, well, what are people going to think? And I even did that when I first had my daughter. I didn't come back here because I was afraid of what people were going to think.
Yeah.
So I'm with Reggie. I'm no longer concerned about everybody else's feeling about what I decide to do. So today I was dropping my brother off to the airport. And I just told my brother, I appreciate the fact that you allow me to just step into your world when I come to DC. Like my brother, no holds barred. Whatever he does from a day-to-day basis, that's what he does when I'm there. So if it's he gets up in the morning and he'll walk around and do nothing till 2:00, that's his routine on Saturday. I'm falling into that routine. It's nothing special. It's nothing totally arranged. Just with a friendly visit.
Right.
And so our goal when I started my new job was for me to travel more.
Okay.
Because last year when I went there to visit him for the summer was the first time I had visited my brother since he moved.
Wow.
From Detroit.
Yes.
And it was always a financial strain. It was always, I don't have the money to fly. He was like, well, I want to fly you. But me being big sis, I was like, but I want to be able to say, hey, I bought it. Yeah. I'm coming to see you.
Sure.
And it was more of my ego. It was my ego.
Yeah.
So our conversation today was just the fact of how proud he is that I've gotten to this mentality that I'm going to live life. I can't be afraid of what's not going to happen. I can't be afraid that this might not be for me. So the first step was me traveling.
Okay.
So I went to visit him right before his birthday. Then he came here, and I'm flying back out of here in January to go to Florida. Okay. I'm just moving, just no holds barred, just let's go. If I find it cheap enough and I have the time, I'm going to go and I'm going to do it. And I think with this new year, new life idea for me, it's that change in being a people pleaser and to becoming a self pleaser.
Okay.
So that's self-care. Everybody talks about self-care. You need to take that time. And you've been telling me for years to get a massage, to just take some time. And like you said, when you go walk down by the water and just have that moment when you just have your thoughts and your time with yourself. I'm always running. And sometimes I forget about me. Yeah. And what I need to do is, and when things finally come crashing, it's like the world is like a big explosion. It's an atomic bomb. Because now I've let it pile up. I haven't sifted through it and taken care of it. So now it's like, now I'm just like, I got to take this. I got to do this. I got to do that. So part of my focus and determination is to include in my starting to have a more directed life. Okay. Is to include some time to make sure that I'm okay. That I'm focused. I visited Reverend Tyler. Well, he's my goddaddy, Uncle Eddie. So I visited him last night, and he was telling me, and it's funny because when I grew up, I never thought I would be preaching. That wasn't what I thought I would be doing. So he and my Aunt Arlene told me, when I went downstairs to see him, he told me, I have some sermons that I want you to have. And he started pulling out like these sermons, just pulling them out here. And I'm sitting here like, oh my God, I got all these sermons, right? And then when I went upstairs, I finally told him bye because we had a reservation somewhere. And then my aunt told me my goddaddy has a garage full of books.
Okay.
Theology books.
Oh, really?
That he's already said, those are my babies.
Okay.
So, like, literally, she's like, there's boxes and boxes of books that I need you to understand that when you move, the one room that you have in your house has to be a room has to be your library.
Yeah.
Because your goddaddy sees something in you that was instilled in me, starting with my grandparents who were here. And he sees something in what I've already preached about.
Okay.
And in the way that I speak to him and the conversations that we had, that he knows that the information that he has, that he's obtained from these books and from his sermons and the information he puts into his sermons, that he believes can impart some knowledge for me.
Okay.
And so part of that, because, I've been struggling with what direction my ministry is supposed to be. Am I supposed to be, dealing with young adult ministry? Am I supposed to do youth ministry? Right. Am I supposed to be in prison ministry? All of that. And somehow, like I said, all of a sudden, like this time of year, all of a sudden, it's like, this is what you need to be doing. Sure. That focus.
Sure.
So what you think?
I have...
Because I saw your mind.
I was thinking about those books in that garage. That's what I was.
I saw your mind.
That's what I was thinking about. I was like, I mean, we have books. Like we have books that we use to get ideas, not just for sermons, but ideas for the way that we might think, the ways that we might never even have thought of. And everything can be found in a book. Yeah. Even our own history. It's a matter of where we look. So you can find out about yourself, and you can find out about more information based on the books you read. Not even just the television shows that you watch, because they have a director, but the material doesn't have a director. It's just there, and you can fashion it and arrange it however you choose, because that's what the mind is for. And so I'm good with that. I've noticed a change in my life ever since I've started 10 minutes of silence in the morning. I go upstairs in my loft, and I have an altar there. I have a comfortable chair. I have some candles, and I light the candles, and it's like 5 in the morning. And I'll just sit there in silence for 10 minutes. Do you know how hard it is just to sit still? Not for a long period of time, for 5 minutes. It was very difficult for me, first thing in the morning, just to be still. No music, nothing else. I mean, phone was not with me. And I keep my phone with me now. There was a time when I did not want a cell phone because I didn't want anyone to have that much access to me. Right. And now I couldn't survive without my cell phone. But when I'm in that loft, no cell phone, no nothing. Just being quiet, being still. And I'm not even praying at this point. I'm just being still.
Just meditating.
Yeah, meditating, just focusing on my breathing. Because when I get nervous, I kind of forget to breathe normally. And so I catch myself, because I'm so nervous. I'm like, all right, I'm thinking about a meeting I have. I'm thinking about a paper I have to write. I'm thinking about a sermon I have to preach. I'm thinking about this or that, and like 10 things at once, and it just kind of catches up with me. But when I'm meditating, it's so peaceful. And then I'll write 3 things I'm thankful for at the end of that 10 minutes. 3 things. It doesn't have to be elaborate things. 3 things. I found a shirt that I liked that matches with my suit. I woke up on time.
Especially now it's cold.
Right. I have a warm home. Like, just 3 things that I'm thankful for. And then it gets to things to the point where I'm not even concentrating on the things that I have. Mm-hmm. Like, who cares about clothing or a car or whatever? Like, I'm thankful for low blood pressure. Mm-hmm. I'm thankful for peace of mind. Very, very little things, but they're absolutely important things. Mm-hmm. And I write those down. And I've written those down for the last 2 months. And the last 2 months have been the most peaceful months because I started them with stillness and then I went to thankfulness. Mm. And when I went to those two things, stuff just got better for me. Yeah. I'm able to focus because I'm not considering all of the demands, but I'm considering the source that gives me my resources. Mm-hmm. That's great for me. That works well for me. And so I'm going to extend that 10 minutes to maybe 15 minutes. Okay. And then 20 minutes. And I'll see where it goes. But it's like I'm so peaceful in the morning. And I've always been a morning person, but I'm always going somewhere and doing something in the morning. Mm-hmm. I just had to just sit still and just chill for a second. Yeah. And when I did that, life got better for me. Now, get into those books. If you ever want to share any of those books, I got you. I will share. All right.
But I'm glad you said something about meditation because we also talked about the fact that we're missing a dear friend. Yeah. Skip Norris.
Yeah.
You were listening to some jazz when I walked in. Yeah. And I remember at his celebration, his homegoing celebration, because it was definitely a celebration. It was New Orleans style jazz. Sure. It was all a Skip in his homegoing celebration. Sure. And his daughter talked about his prayer box.
Yeah.
And she gave everyone a card about what you're supposed to put it. You're supposed to write your prayer in this box. And her dad took it a step further. And he actually, when the prayer was answered, he dated it. Wow. On the prayer. So he wrote the prayer down. Mm-hmm. Whatever it was, he was asking for a new job, more focus, whatever it was. And when he actually noticed mm-hmm. that his prayer was being answered, he wrote the date that it happened.
Okay.
And put it in a box. So when she opened the box, she would read prayers and look at like he got a new job with the city. He had prayed for a change.
Right.
And he dated the day he got the new job.
Wow.
So that set her on a path or on a mission to start that. So this is my challenge to you. Mm-hmm. Look it up. Because I do believe you can find on Google a prayer box. You can find, different cards. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have one, I still have the one that Sarah gave to everyone. Mm-hmm. And I want you all to take this year, 2018. And I want you to write down your prayers.
Okay. Yeah.
And just like he said, meditation, it may not be in the same way that Skip did or may not be the way, because I still have not started my box. So This is my dedication right now to start my box in towards this new focus and determination of things that I want to do. So if I want to be moved into my own place by July 2018, then that's definitely what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it in the prayer box. God, help me have the direction, so that I'm able to move into my own place by this date, so that my daughter's able to have her own room, her car. We will be all set for the school year, for her senior year. So I want you all to start your own personal path for finding that peace and going from that peace and that being still to the thanking. Because I have a lot of friends who just recently started their own business. Okay. And I have a friend who was telling me about the struggle that it's been because, when you start, it's a scary thing to, first of all, be out on your own. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you have this idea and you want everybody to buy into it. But when it starts off slow, you get frustrated. Mm-hmm. So I want to encourage her and her husband. Starting a new business is scary. But you have friends and loved ones who support you, but you have a God who knows you. Mm-hmm. And he knows your heart. Amen. And I want you to take the time and write down the goals for your business. Where do you want your business to be at the end of January? That's just January. Mm-hmm. Let's go month by month. And if you start finding your goals to become accomplished month by month, spread it out. Right. Do every 3 months. What have you accomplished with your business what have you accomplished with your life goals in these 3 months? And then you do a self-check. And if you need a self-check partner, find a self-check partner.
Right.
So say I have a list of things. If I say, hey, Reggie, can we meet in March, at the beginning of March? And let's see how far I've gotten with these lists of goals. What have I done to start that plan? I think if we stop trying to do it all on our own, because we're not existing in this world on our own. You have talents I don't have. I have talents you don't have. There's an abundance of talents.
Sure.
So if we take our lives and not the old life that God is asking us, go ahead and let that go. We don't owe it one red cent. It happened. It is what it is. It's done and it's over with. I can't wake up tomorrow and say, hey, I want to redo Thursday.
Can't do it.
You can't.
No.
It's over. It's done. The decisions you made, they're over.
Yeah.
But if you take each day at a time and you say, hey, if I messed up yesterday, say you hurt someone's feelings. I messed up, but you call them the next day, hey, I want to talk to you because I was not focused. I let my emotions take over. I want us to really hash out and talk about this.
Amen.
So whatever you're doing or whatever your goals are for this year, for 2018, I keep saying this year, we're still in 2017.
I know, it's
Whatever your goals are for 2018, I want you all to take into consideration what Reggie said. I want you to take, like he said, he started off 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm even at work, and I tell him all the time, I'm like a dog who sees a squirrel. I'm focused, and somebody says squirrel, and I'm gone,
right.
and I don't know what I was supposed to be focused on, and I have to refocus and redo it and reset myself. So I want you all to just take that 2 minutes, and I'm talking to myself because I need to, and I get up early enough, and I can give God 2 minutes and increase it to 5 and increase it to 10 because He's given me almost 40 years.
Sure.
Just think about that.
Sure.
God does not ask you to give Him every minute of every day to sit with Him. Just like I sat with my aunt and uncle, He's just asking for a moment of your time to just sit and listen or just sit and talk with them and let them know. Of course, God already knows what's on our heart, right, folks? We already know that. He knows what's on our hearts. But He wants you to actually acknowledge the fact that, hey, you know what? I need some time to talk to you. I need some time to reflect on what's happening right now. I need some time to be like, hey, God, guess what? I talk to such and such and say, talk to her like it's your best friend. Or if your parents are your best friend, talk to them like it's your mother or your father you're talking to about what's going on with you. I have people who are embarking on new lives, new adventures this year. One of my friends is getting married next year, and I want her to focus on what is your goal for that day when you say I do. Where do you see your life leading? And I'm not talking about the planning process. I'm talking about when you officially say I do. What do you see for you in your partner's new life? Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
I want you to take that time and write down what are your goals for your marriage.
There you go.
You all did the dating, you've been engaged, you're supposed to, you're still learning.
Sure.
But when that day when it's official.
And follow through.
Yeah.
I mean, we see so many sitcoms and movies about people getting married. And the movie ends usually when they get married. Yeah. Well, that's not the end. Like, okay, you have a life to live, and I'm not saying that your wedding is just a party, because it's not. It's very special, and we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can do more than one thing and have more than one focus. All right, have that marriage and provide for your future.
Yeah.
And work together to get this thing going smoothly. And there are a lot of people that are going to want to offer their expertise, and I'm putting expertise in quotes because they are not certified in a thing, and like they want to. Okay, they didn't have doves at their wedding, and they go like, you should have doves at your wedding. Yeah. You should have this and that, and such and such and so and so. Yeah. And it's like, nah, they're trying to hamper you with their dreams, and they're gonna try to butt into your ceremony with their details, and that's just not how it works.
Yeah.
And the same thing with business owners. There are some people that are so afraid of starting their own business but they'll give you critiques and whatnot all day. Mm-hmm. I want to sit down with people who have been successful in business and say, okay, what worked for you?
Yeah.
How did you use your talents in a way that can further your dream? Mm-hmm. And did you include God in the very beginning of this thing? You know, I mean, I want God at the takeoff. I want God at the landing. Yeah. And I want God in the middle. At 25,000 feet. That's I want God all around. Yeah. And it's like, you know, I'm not going to call on God at the ending when I didn't invite God in the very beginning.
Ooh, say that again.
I'm not going to call on God at the ending when I did not invite God at the beginning.
So let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
When we're talking about this new life, remember we talked about you sitting still.
Yes.
When you were in the beginning, and if I'm going too much into it, let me know. Say it. When you were married, did you all pray together like every night? Did you all pray together before you even went into it? Was there like a prayer with each other that you all sat and were like, God, I thank you for this individual in my life? And then as you progressed and as you all got married, did you pray every day together?
We did not pray every day together. Mm. We prayed in the mornings because she was not a morning person. Mm-hmm. Like, and when I say not, I'm saying it in like capital letters, underscore in red. Okay. Not. Okay. And I was always a morning person. Mm-hmm. So when we got up in the morning, it was a chore for her and it wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. Marriage is about balance. Yeah. Like, it's not 50-50. It's 100-100. Mm-hmm. It really is. And so I had to help build her up or remind her who she was in that morning. Mm-hmm. And I did that with prayer. Yeah. I mean, I loved her. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, love doesn't die; it just changes. Yeah, yeah. The dynamics of it. Right. The dynamics have changed. So, I mean, I just reminded her of that. Mm-hmm. I prayed for her. Mm-hmm. I went to God on her behalf. I really did. Mm-hmm. And you know, there's no perfection in marriage. Neither one of us were. Mm-hmm. But that was a strong point. So yeah, we did pray. Not every day. Yeah. But yeah, we prayed.
And I mean, because things happen. You get sleepy, you fall asleep, you know, things happen.
We get in our feelings. We get in our feelings and are absolutely angry and furious. Mm-hmm. And I didn't pray. I wish I had prayed when I got angry. Mm. Okay. Okay. You know, but it's like I didn't want to bring my anger to God. And I really wish I had been more transparent with God in my anger. Mm-hmm. Because as married people, you get angry sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so how are you going to work out your anger in a way that's respectful to God and that other person?
But isn't that what we do when we go talk to our best friends when we're angry?
Right. But I wish I would have stayed and dealt with that decision. Yeah. Like we always want to cool off and then talk. Mm-hmm. I want to talk to you and say what's the problem. And I think if I said what the true problem was, we could have worked that thing out in the moment. Yeah. Just like it said, bury the yesterday. Yeah. That's really saying stay in the moment. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we want to get out of the moment and then come back.
And we can't relive yesterday.
No, you can't relive it. Mm-hmm. It's like there's a blessing in your wrestling. Yeah. And we want to say, all right, God, just deal with this thing, God. Handle my light work and let me go eat a sandwich, and then I'll come back when you done, and I'll just take all the blessings. Right, right. There's some war in the midst of the blessing, and you can't go from zero to blessing. You got to go through your war. Yeah. And you know, if we're going to have a new life, then we have to make new decisions, and new decisions just don't happen. Yeah. You have to work them. So yeah, not just in marriage. I found the things that you do in marriage are the things you do in business, and are the things you do in worship, and are the things you do in every other aspect of your life. Marriage is really, and relationships are just really a mirror. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to be married. You could do this in your relationship with the person you're dating. Because the way you treat the person you're dating on some level is the way you treat your business.
Right.
And the way you treat your finances and the way you treat your worship even. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just not exactly equal, but it's working in there. I had to reevaluate all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I really did.
I'm glad you said, he said, like I'm not sitting next to you. I'm glad you said that though, because if you think about it, if we take the things and understand that there's going to be some work.
Yeah.
Just like when you're setting your goals. Mm-hmm. I know I'm going to fall a couple of times. I know I'm going to mess up.
Sure.
But I'm not going to stay messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use my mess ups to become my bless ups.
Okay. I got that.
So instead of, and I think a lot of times we take our failures and we say, oh, I can't do it anymore.
Right.
If it happens, if we fail more than once, successful business owners have failed more than one time.
Absolutely. Sure.
Things have not always gone. Either a grant fell through or something that they've done has fallen through. But they found a way to fix whatever it is that caused it to fail the first time.
Okay. Or
they find a new route. Yeah. Maybe you can't get along through this bank, but you can get along through this bank. And even with relationships, maybe the person that you're dealing with can't take you as being just straight with no chaser.
Right.
Maybe they can't take it that you're just blunt. Mm-hmm. And maybe you have to understand where they're coming from. So maybe you have to write it down. Maybe you can't just bark it at them. Maybe you need to say, okay, look, I'm going to tell you what I'm feeling, but I don't want you to be in your feelings.
Okay. Okay.
I want you to understand that this is how I feel about our situation, and I want us to talk about it together.
Okay.
Instead of me saying you, we.
Mm-hmm.
We don't take the time to sit and have dinner together. We don't take the time to sit and discuss our finances right now because you're working 60 hours and you're working 60 hours and we're both tired. We don't take the time to discuss the fact that I'm trying to come into your child. For those that have blended relationships, we don't take the time to discuss the fact that I'm coming into your child's life, but I'm not trying to replace that parent. But I want them to understand that I want to help protect them because I love you.
Sure.
And I want to be to them what I am to you because I care and I'm down for you. So if I'm down for you, because my kids are a package deal.
Okay.
If you can't handle my kids, you can't handle me.
Okay.
Because they come, you might not meet them right away.
Uh-huh.
You have to deal with me first. But know that some if you think you're going to be there in the long run,
sure.
My kids come. And I don't mean just my biological. I mean all those that say, hey, Mom.
Right.
Because one way or another, I'm going to find a way to help to be there for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So with that new planning, and I love, this is why I love talking to Reggie, because Reggie he says what I can't say because Reggie does the background work, and I'm still working on that background part. Oh, always, I love you. But he says it, Faith, you have to work at it.
Yeah.
You have to. It's not going to be a push of a button, and like you said, you just get all the blessings.
Right.
God says, okay, it's wrapped up in this package. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Unwrap the bow, boom, it's done.
Right.
So I think for our viewers this evening, I want you all to, when you're setting these goals, know that you're going to get some bumps and bruises.
Yes, they are. Yep.
Know that you're going to get some cuts, you're going to get some scrapes, you're going to be tired.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need that energy drink. And I don't mean energy drink like get a Red Bull. Sure. I mean, find that person who helps motivate you. Yeah. Let go of that person who's holding you back.
There you go. That's the thing. You have to.
Yeah. You have to. You have to understand that everybody is not in your life for a lifetime.
No.
Some people are in there for a season.
Yeah.
They're there to teach you a lesson, and if either you can learn that lesson or you can go right back and keep bumping your head until it bleeds.
Yeah. There are some people that are only in your life to have a front row seat for your failure. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Mm-hmm. And you have to know who those people are. The thing is, your friends and your frenemies kind of look the same.
Yeah.
but salt and sugar looks the same from a distance.
They do till you
Right?
taste
So
them.
you have to get up there and taste it. So it takes time, and you can't hurry anything.
Yeah.
The thing is, do we know how to fail? How to fail? Because there are some things you can try 20 times and you won't get them right.
Yeah.
But I will not fail the same way on the 20th time as I did on that first time. I'm going to fail better until I don't fail at all.
Yeah.
I wrote this on Facebook like 3 weeks ago. I fell on some ice, right?
What?
I had some crocodile loafers on, right? I'm trying to be sharp in the ice, and I'm thinking if it's freshly fallen snow, there's no ice under it. Like I'm good, and I mean I'm 42 years old. I walked on ice for 42 years,
right?
But when I fell, I didn't just fall like like in the movies, like with my feet up in the air. Now, like it wasn't like that.
Right.
I knew how to break my fall. You're gonna fall in life. You're gonna fail in certain things in life. But do you know how to break your fall?
Yeah.
Do you know how to lose your money and not your mind? Do you know how to lose a relationship and not cut off every friend you have?
Don't go into that self-pity.
Right, or you stop talking to your loved one, but you don't stop talking to God. I mean, there are ways you can break the fall. And I think if we knew how to fall, we could know how to get up quicker. Because eventually I got up off that ice.
Yeah.
Eventually. Now for like 5 minutes, I was like a turtle on its back. Okay. Seriously, I was so through for like 5 minutes. But you know what? Somebody saw me trying to get up, and they came and helped me.
Really?
Yeah. People say whatever about Detroit, but like we will help you if we see you trying to do something for yourself.
Yeah.
This woman saw me trying to get up, and I was in the parking lot, and I promise you, y'all, it was. And I try to be cool, but it's no cool way to fall like that, right?
Right.
And try to get up. But she saw me and she was like, do you need some help? I could have been all in my ego and was like, nah, I got this. I tried, I could not get up. But she helped me. And I was like, thank you. Just like earnestly, thank you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need. We need people to be transparent, and we need to accept help when it comes, and we need to be thankful for it. And we need to know not to wear crocodile shoes in the ice. From that day on, I was wearing boots to and from the building. Real talk. And that's how I go.
Hey.
That's how I go. Real talk.
So guys, let's go. Because there are a couple of comments here. Don't put seasonal people in lifetime positions. Will, for real.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to check the relationship of the people you're dealing with. Have they been there for some time? And Dexter telling me when I pound my fist, it's real. Come on, man. When you trying to drive that point home,
you need to. When
you're trying to, when you're making life decisions, hey, I'm going to move. Hey, I'm going to save money. I'm going to change my life. I'm not going to be the same person I was. This new life is not, like I said, it's kind of shedding crocodile skin.
Yeah.
Or snake skin. Shedding snake skin. I don't know why I said crocodile skin.
I don't know.
It was the crocodile shoes.
Yeah. I see, that's what it is.
But I want you all to really take a moment before you go into 2018, before you pray over whatever it is that you want to happen for your life in 2018. My kid is on here. She's so funny. I want you to take an self-evaluation. What did you set for yourself? What goals did you have set for yourself in 2017 that you have just let fade away? That you haven't even tried to pursue? What are some things that you said this is what it's gonna be? It's gonna happen 2017, and you find yourself knocking on 2018, and you have not made one plan, iota, done nothing.
Right.
so that it'll come to fruition. And I'm gonna ask, because we're gonna ask this question. I'm gonna look at this video when we come back again this time next year, and I'm gonna tell you where I am.
Okay.
Compared to where I am in 2018 at this time to where I was this time this year.
Sure.
I think that'd be cool. That's amazing.
That would be
we should do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I'm gonna write down my goals for 2018. Everything book that deals with God and what I'm going through, and my personal journal. And I'm gonna see when we have this seat again.
Okay. And
I'm gonna date it in the books. We can go back and make sure and see what did I accomplish.
All right.
And what things I'm still working on. Like I said, everything's not gonna happen in a year.
Right.
Some things gonna take some work. It's gonna take a little longer. I might not be completely financially stable, but at least I have a plan in the process.
That's right.
At least I started working towards being financially stable. So I want you all to start your prayer box, however you want to assign your prayer box, however you want to set it up. Whatever you want to do with the prayer box, it's for you. You don't have to show me proof or anything like that. Don't show us proof. I just want you to have something where you can find yourself accountable for the prayers that you're asking. And are they legit prayers?
That's real, yeah.
Are they legit prayers? Or you just ask like, God, I want a Corvette. You don't make Corvette money.
Nah.
You ain't gonna be able to take care of that Corvette when you get it, but you asking for a Corvette. So first, the prayer box. Second, if you find that, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what it's called, the thing on Facebook or Instagram.
Yes.
I want you to just take a screenshot, see what it says. If you want to share it with us, please share it with us on our page. And like I said, because mindset, focus, and determination, I'm going to make sure that everything that I do revolves around, because that was already in the works before I even looked at that thing.
Yeah.
That was my goal for 2000. Yeah. I'm focused on being better, and when I hit that 40 mark, I want to say I have accomplished this. Yeah. I got till August, by the way.
All right.
That's what, 8.
Take your time.
8
yeah,
months.
8 months.
I got till August to get it together.
Hey.
So for those that checked in, William Holton, Dexter Fields, my baby India Pumpkin. Hey, Mr. White, how you doing? Allison, who else we got? Brandy, Amani.
Terry.
Hey, Stacy, what's going on? My brother Khalid. Oh, he tuned in at 28,000 feet. That's love, y'all. My brother's on a plane to Dallas to bring in the new year. So I love you, Khalid. Safe travels. I'm waiting for my picture so I know what's going on in Dallas. I'm watching you, boy. Oh, Miss Lori, thank you. Kiera, she's here. I gotta go find her.
Okay.
Markel, Harvey, what's going on, Harvey? Terry, she's always tuning in. I love her. Tony, Walter, hey Walter, hey Mama. She said she's excited because she started this discussion at the house. So, and I can't see on our page, on the Joshua page, but thank you guys for tuning in. We have run out of time. Like I said, share your, start your prayer box, share your findings on that page, and I want you to, let us know, what are your goals? What are your aspirations for 2018? All right. Yes. Because we're over time, I want to say love you. Oh, can't go Sunday. Yes. Sunday. First, I want to thank Pastor Adams and Reverend Christian Adams for this opportunity. They are just wonderful, amazing preachers. We have services. We have 4 services this Sunday. Yes, we have 4 services. We have 7:30 and 11. And then we have 2 New Year's Eve services. The first New Year's Eve service starts at 8 o'clock. Yeah. And then the second one right after the 8 o'clock service. So we say about 9:30. About 9:30. And then from the 9:30 service, he prays us on into the 2018. Right. So if you're looking for somewhere to worship, please come join us here at Hartford Memorial Baptist Church. We're at 18700 James Cousins Highway in Detroit. And because my brother has the most prophetic prayers that I've ever heard, will you pray us out, Reggie?
Sure. And just two small announcements.
Oh, yeah.
We are having food before the 8 o'clock service.
Oh, so we
if
feed you?
If you want to grab something to eat, something light.
Yeah, we not.
For real light.
Because we're not trying
light.
to get you to go to sleep in church, y'all.
Nah,
we not.
But come on out, fellowship with us shortly before the 8 o'clock service, 8 p.m. And Saturday at 7 p.m. in the chapel right here. I'm preaching from 7. It's for Saturday night live service from 7 to 8. Very short service, very short sermon. We'll get you in and get you out, but we will have a message for you. So I'm preaching this Saturday. Come on through at 7. If you can't make it, please pray for us.
Yeah, right? Definitely pray. Definitely pray. If you can't make it anywhere, just pray for each other. Absolutely. I think we're going to cover each other all the way into 2018 and beyond. I didn't mean to stop it. We're not going to stop. I got you covered prayer-wise.
All right, let's pray. Thank you, Lord, for all you've been. God, for the ways that you've made, for the doors that you've opened, for the ones that you have shut. God, for allowing us to recognize ways that we could be better. Lord, allowing us to recognize ways that you have blessed us. You blessed us, God, in spite of ourselves. Yes. We thank you, Lord, just for that, for meeting us at the point of our need and taking us where you would have us to go. Yes. So we thank you, Lord, and we ask that you would anoint every heart, every mind, God, that they will reflect your will and your way in our dreams and our desires, that they would reflect what you would have and want for us. Yes. Bless us, God, in this day, and we shall be blessed. Keep us, Lord, and we shall be kept in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name. Amen.
Love y'all.
Love you guys. If I don't see you, Happy New Year. Can't wait to see what you all post on the page for 2018. And we will see you next Thursday.
Yeah.
God bless you.
God bless you.
My water.